Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to day 2 of feeding our starter on the sourdough club series here on my channel. I don't know what else to call it, but I really do feel like we're in a club because there's so many of us that want to do this and we just need some support. We need to do it together. So here we are, day 2. We are actually going to feed our starter now because yesterday we built our starter. So I will leave a link to that video actually making the starter up above for you guys. A couple things I want to address first. One, everyone, myself included, having a difficult time finding rye flour. We see a show of hands if you're having problems finding rye flour. I sent my husband to 2 different places yesterday because I was running low. So I ended up ordering a bag on Amazon, which is where I bought my rye flour originally. But I'm shocked that nobody is carrying it. My friend Paul was able to find 1 bag in one of his local shops. So Miss Mandy over at More to Life did a Google search, and apparently there were some issues with the rye crop, which is making it more scarce and the price higher. So this is what I'm gonna do. If you went ahead and bought rye flour and you're using rye flour, continue on because you want the most success that you can get, right? And rye is supposed to be the best to do sourdough starter. The second best to use is stone ground whole wheat, which is what I have right here. So I'm gonna switch mine up because I want to do what the majority of you are able to do. And if the majority of you can't do rye, but you can find the whole wheat, we'll do whole wheat. So I'm gonna do whole wheat from this point on so that those of you who can't find the rye, can't afford the rye, because the rye is really expensive on Amazon. It wasn't when I originally bought my rye. I think I paid like $6 for 2 bags. And now it's like $15 for 2 bags. So I'm gonna switch it up. We're gonna use whole wheat. So for those of you who can't find the rye, we're gonna do whole wheat. For those of you who went ahead and bought the rye, continue on, okay? If you don't have rye or whole wheat, you can use bread flour or all-purpose. Like I said, my girlfriend Allison did all-purpose and her starter is beautiful. It just might take a little bit longer. Another thing, where do you put it? Because if you're in northern Michigan like me, and right now we're currently getting an ice storm and expecting a foot of snow, finding a warm spot can be difficult. So I'm keeping mine in my dehydrator box. It has the door closed. I'm not touching it. If you don't have a dehydrator box though, you could use the microwave. Just put your starter in the microwave. Of course, don't turn it on. And make sure you put a tag on there so nobody in your family turns it on. But store it in your microwave, that's a great option. In your oven is also a great option. You could put the light on. My girlfriend Nancy keeps it in the oven with the light on, and then she just wraps a towel around her starter so that her starter doesn't get a lot of light. So those are 2 other great options. Also the cabinet, like that cabinet right there above your stove, is another great place because it's dark and it'll be warm as you're cooking. So those are just some ideas, just to give you a few more ideas as we go along. Now, like I said before, I am no bread baker. I'm just a mom who likes to bake bread and who wants to start using sourdough. So, but there are many of you out there that have starter already going. Some of you have starter that's like 30 years old. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask all of you to stay active in the comment section down below. If you have questions, if you're running into problems, post them. I might not be able to help you, but we have so many experienced people hanging out with us that they might be able to step in and give you a hand. So for those of you who have experience with sourdough, especially those of you who have sourdough that are 5 years, 15, 30 years old, if you could help us as we navigate through this, it really is like a club. So I'm gonna stop talking now. We're gonna switch it up to the whole wheat. I'm gonna spin you guys around. We're gonna take my starter out of the box. I have not looked at it, so I'm interested to see how it looks. Now, I'm not expecting anything big because, you know, it's only been a day, but I will give you an idea of what mine looks like as we move forward. I'm moving up to a 1.5 pint jar. Yesterday I used a pint jar, wide mouth. Today I'm going to use a 1.5 pint because we're going to have a little bit more starters, so I want to give it a little bit more room to grow. So, but I'm going to use the same lid. So, all right, I'm going to spin you around and let's take a look at my starter. So, take this off. And I had just left the jar open just a little bit. And so this is what my starter looks like. So it's grown a bit. And let's see the consistency here. I'm just gonna poke it with a little jar spatula. Oh yeah, see how it's beginning to look a little spongy? That's exactly what we want. So, very good. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm not gonna keep poking it. I've got my other starter here too, that I'm gonna leave off to the side because I have to feed that. So I'm gonna spin you guys back around and let's feed our starter. Okay, so not complicated here. If you are not weighing your starter, just go ahead and measure it. You're going to want to take it out of this jar, put it in a measuring cup, and see how much of it you've got. So what we're going to do, though, we're going to go ahead and, first off, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to stir this. And get it all off the edges here. And it looks beautiful. You see that? That is beautiful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my new jar, which is this 1.5 pint jar here. Okay, let's see. No, it's so hard to try to get the whole thing in the shot and the amount. So I'm going to try my best here for you guys. You see that? All right, the number on that is 379. So we're going to go ahead and tare it. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my starter in here, and we're going to see how much starter I have. Try to scrape out as much as you can. You should have like around 100, but of course some is gonna remain in the jar, so we're probably gonna be just shy of 100 here. Oh, and there's my snow alert. Okay, so let's see what we've got there. All right, we've got 92. But it really, just so that I have an idea, we're pretty close to 100. But we're gonna still go ahead and add 50 grams of flour today and 50 grams of water, warm water. Kind of like you would make for a baby's bottle. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this out. Okay. Okay, so we're back at 0. I'm going to take my whole wheat and I'm just going to start. Let's see that you guys can see this probably. Aim it down a little bit. Can you see that? There you go. All right, so let's add in 50 grams of whole wheat flour. Now, it's my experience with my other starter, Walter, that if you're a little bit over and you're a little bit less, just by a gram or so, it made no difference. But I'm really trying to be as accurate as I can. Okay, a little bit more. There we go, 50. Okay, so there's 50. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 50 grams or milliliters of water. I'm going to tear this out. There we go. All right, and that is it. Okay, so now I can get this off here. Shut that off. Okay, and then get your lid back here. There we go. All right, and now I'm using, this is actually by KitchenAid. It is a jar spatula. I use it for canning to get things out of my jars like pie filling and that sort of thing. But you can use any spatula. You can even use a canning pokey joe, which is what I used yesterday. Whatever you have. You can use a spoon if you wanted to. So what I want is I want to make sure that I'm stirring this really well. I don't want any lumps in here of flour. So scrape the bottom, scrape the sides, make sure nothing is sticking. My gosh, this is so much fun. And using a whole wheat starter is very exciting to me. All right. So I'm going to scrape now my sides of my jar, just so that I don't have a lot of mix on the side, because it can, when it dries, it is like cement, no joke. Okay. And then I'm going to just kind of level it off a little bit. Okay. Scrape some off with my, make sure your hands are clean. I know I hate having to say that, but I have to say that. Okay. All right. So there we go. Now I'm going to lift you up so you can see inside my jar, and you can see what mine looks like. And it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. So there it is. Now it's got got a little bit of rye in it, but that's okay. We'll make it now whole wheat, just to make it easier for everybody. So we're all on the same page, because you know this is a sourdough club, right? So, all right, now with that, I'm going to just put the lid back on it, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right back in my dehydrator box. Sorry, I'll move my coffee. Extra strong coffee this morning. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to feed Walter, and then I'll put him in there. So I am making my very first sourdough pizza crust tonight for dinner, and I'm so excited, you guys, and I cannot wait to start making these things with you once we get our starter going. So with that, we're done for day 2. Tomorrow I will be back in the morning to do day 3 with you guys. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I will try to address them tomorrow morning, just like I kind of did today. And yeah, like I said, if you can add support down below to anybody else who is doing this, who's never done this before, I would be so grateful. I love hanging out with you guys. I love doing this with you guys. It's so exciting. I've been so excited about this. You have no idea. It's all I've been talking about. In fact, if the weather's not too bad, I might brave the storm and head to the library this morning just to see if I can find any books on sourdough. So, all right, guys, I hope this is fun for you guys. Let me know. I'm loving your feedback. I'm loving hanging out in the comment section with you guys. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow morning. All right? Cheers to extra strong coffee. All right, guys, see you in the morning.